Okay, today we are on to track rods and track rod ends. So these are ones from the fire. Look at the state of that. So the old ball joint ends have become balls. So we're going to strip those down, give them a lick of paint because they look pretty scabby at the minute. Ordered a new set of track rod ends. You get two outers in the set, a left and a right. I say a left and right thread, that is. And then you get the two inners, again a left and right thread, but one's got the eye in it for the steering damper. So it's pretty hard to make a mistake really, because we'll follow what came off, or just so you can work it out. But obviously I have your left and the right thread on there, so when you turn the track rod, it pulls it in and out and makes it shorter or longer. Also going to need a new damper. I think I've got a spare somewhere. I say the fire's actually burst it, and all the oil's come out of that one. That's more like it. Oh, it's really tempting just to clear coat it. I do like shiny metal things. I've just spent half an hour looking for 2.5 litres of paint. Is it just me? Oh my god. Found it in the first place I started looking. Goosfarber. Okay, finally we can get some paint on the beam. So I'm going to be using Epoxy Mastic 121. It's a 2-pack system, so you add it 50-50, mix them together. I'm going to mix up about 100ml, see how that goes. I say I can't remember how far it goes, so we'll do a little experiment. And also going to be adding about 10% the thinners. Hopefully that'll avoid any brush lines and help it brush on a bit more easily as well. Let's see how it goes. Just for today I'm going to be using my Gerson 800E series respirator. It's one I was recommended by a paint guy. He said they sometimes put these on for short periods of time to go into a booth to check the work rather than putting the full air-fed respirators on, and it's one of the few that's supposed to protect you from organic chemicals and isocyanides and stuff like that. I say I don't know what these paints are going to put off, if it's that or maybe not at all, but I don't want to take the chance really. And so I can't tell you this is the one to have, it's just what I was recommended and say the one I've got. So hopefully I'll still be alive by the end of this. Okay, I'm going to give them a good old stir with different sticks. Try not to splash any into the other pot. And so the grey one's super thick. I don't have a measuring pot, run out of them, so I'm just using these little scoops I've got, 25ml scoops. Two of them. Ten 10% thinners. So a good old stir. So 10% actually feels thinner than I expected it to be. Okay, 100ml and 10% thinners seems to be just about right for a full beam. So managed to get the full beam out of it. Steering box and 2 track rods. So I'm quite impressed by its coverage. There are brush lines in it. Let's say we didn't manage to get rid of those. I'll be honest with you, I'm not overly fussed. It's not a show car. I just want a really good tough covering. That's my main objective. But obviously, if you're doing a show car, it's probably the product to use, or at least not how I'm doing it with the brush. I need to look at spraying or something. At the minute, it's looking pretty shiny. So it's certainly more shiny than the roll cage did. So I'm curious to know when it dries if it stays shiny or if it's going to go a bit more dull. I guess time will tell, and I shall come back to you tomorrow. 24 hours later, that kind of answers that, doesn't it? So we've got lots of brush lines in there. The paint has dulled a bit as well. It's not got that glossy black shine which you tend to get from the Por 15. It doesn't look bad. So definitely going to try spraying it at 20% thinners when I come to do the floor pan on the other bug, rather than brushing it. So I want to try and avoid lines like that in the pan. But for the RatRod, it'll do, pig, it'll do. So the cup that I mixed all the paint in is obviously coated in the paint and it's now set. Check that out. It's just starting to crack around the top, but that is pretty flexible for a paint. It's quite impressive. So hopefully standing on a floor pan after you painted it, it's not going to crack off. Just a brush full of copper grease makes the bolts turn round when they go rusty. Da, 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 da. Okay, starting to put the bits and pieces back onto the beam. Now, with the steering box, I don't have a standard position being a non-standard beam, and also it doesn't have the two little knobbles on the beam which usually sit within the clamp plate there. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to basically get the steering box into its central position, try and get everything vaguely lined up so the wheels are in a straight line, and then hopefully I'll have a position I can start clamping down at. Obviously I do two little drills and zap some weld on there to create little knobbles to stop the box from turning. It looks like I'm going to have an issue with the arm though, because straight away it's starting to crash on the side of the beam, so looks like we're going to have to modify that. Nothing to see here, nothing at all. Now, I'm definitely not using post-production magic to add lock nuts onto the trot rod ends, which I definitely didn't forget to do earlier. However, should for whatever reason you forget to put your lock nuts on, not like me, I highly recommend saving onto your old ones if you can. So basically these bad boys are about £2.50 a pop to buy. Now you'll probably find in your big old box of nuts, because everybody has a big box of nuts, don't they? But you'll find some normal thread ones, but say two of them are left hand or reverse thread, and they're a bit tricky to find in your old box of bits. Okay, I'm quite chuffed with making some progress. So it's all kind of mocked together now. Still need to set a position on the steering box, which I'm going to do once the beam is bolted to the floor pan. Obviously once it's all bolted on there, we can look at setting the position for the adjusters as well. We're going to bolt it on using caster shims to keep the angle vaguely stock. I'll explain that one later. So I guess the next thing to do is go and fetch the floor pan, because that's located in a friend's garage. So thank you, dude, for saving my floor pan if you're watching this. So we're going to go and fetch that, and then we're going to be moving on to the gearbox. So it's a late pan with a late gearbox, but we need short axle on there. So I guess the next video might be a short axle how to do video thing. See you in a bit, guys.